Hey everyone, welcome to Q&A. So today, Jelm38, good name, writes, are there any job interview questions that they only ask in CEO interviews? Okay, excellent question, Jelm38. Yeah, I know of one question that they specifically ask CEO candidates at CEO interviews. And I know this because although I'm not an executive recruiter myself, I've been a CEO, I've been through the CEO hiring process, and I've been to many CEO interviews, and that question keeps coming up. So that is definitely one that you may encounter if you're going up for a CEO interview. Now, I don't know if there's like a textbook right answer for it. I can give you the answer that I've given in interviews, and I'm not sure if this is an amazing answer or a mediocre answer, but what I can tell you is that it didn't eliminate me. That's the one thing that I can say with certainty, because things turned out okay. So I can give you my answer. I'm going to give you my answer. This might be a little long-winded, and obviously a lot of this may or may not apply to whatever situation you're in, but anyway, here it is. Take it or leave it. So where do you get your information? How do you know what's going on in your organization, really? Well, I get my information from multiple sources. There's no one source that's going to be 100% accurate, 100% honest, or 100% complete. So you look at multiple sources of information, and through all of them, you sort of develop an overview, a sort of collective overview of what's really going on. And I guess you could group these into looking internally or externally into the business environment. So internally, I use basically two sources of information, two main ones anyway. The first one is all the obvious stuff, your metrics and your KPIs, the most important of which is your financials. So you're going to be looking at your financial statements and maybe your customer service data. That's going to be your lagging indicators. They tell you how you're doing, but you can't really use them to validate current decisions. The other stuff like marketing, operations, supply chain, production, all of that, that's going to be more of a leading indicator, but still it may not be leading enough depending on the details of what we're talking about. So that's your primary source, is your internal KPIs and metrics. The second source is what I've always referred to loosely as a rapport. Rapport with your employees and with your workforce. And there's a couple of things that I've done for this. And number one is I schedule half an hour a week for me to walk the halls, essentially, to go into every area, every department, observe what's going on, have casual conversations with employees at every level, and get more of an intuitive feel for what's actually happening. And I found this to pay off immensely, because you really get a feel for where efficiency gains might be and where problems might be. The other thing I do is once a week I take out to lunch one employee, one subordinate, usually a direct report, but not always. And I found this to be extremely valuable too. Number one, it's an investment in the employee. They're much more engaged. Number two, it's a great vehicle to have a two-way conversation. They can bring up concerns, potential issues, questions, things like that. I can provide clarity and just explain things a bit better. So that's also a source of information of kind of when you hear what people are thinking and what maybe they don't understand and what they've seen works well, things like this. Very useful. So those are kind of the two sources: internal metrics and what I call rapport with the workforce. Externally, there's a couple of sources there. Number one, I do the standard thing that most people in B2B type operations do, is once a year I try to get some face time with my top 10 customers by volume. So I go and meet with my customers and get their perspective on how we're doing and what we could be doing better. And this is, once again, this is also very, very valuable because you do get a lot of honesty there. Not about everything, like, not about pricing. The price is always too high, but you get a lot of honesty, a little bit less actionable details, but it's a great sort of sanity check to make sure you're doing okay. So there's that source. Another source externally is going to be your economic data, and you can get economic data from the 3 levels of government, from associations, from management consulting firms. I've done all of that in the past. I've found that 3 levels of government and associations, I have found it to be somewhat biased. Even federal government, I can't speak to the quality of the data. I'm sure it's fine, but the way it's presented, I always sense that there's a bit of an agenda there. They're trying to get economic development. They're trying to get foreign direct investment. There's so you take it with a grain of salt. Private consulting firms, I've done free data, from like Dun and Bradstreet. They have some queries and stuff you can get to mixed results. I've done paid consulting firms. They'll come in and they'll do like a validation for an M&A proposition, something like that. And once again, mixed results. There's some good stuff there, but there are some biases and agendas and things like that, stuff you know of and stuff you don't know of, so you take it with a grain of salt. And I suppose there might be a third one, loosely, a third source of external data, and that would be social networking. I'm not really on social networking a ton, but I'm on Twitter and stuff, and I've been there in the past. And if you're kind of tuned into your industry and nobody's talking about one thing, but everybody's talking about another thing, that signals something. So you can loosely keep your finger on the pulse of the industry by tapping into that every once in a while. So you put all of these together and you get a sort of bird's eye view of what's going on, and it's served me in the past. So there you go. So that's my answer. So once again, you can take it or leave it. Hopefully that helps. That's maybe a starting point. But as I say, I'm not really focusing on interviewing tactics here. I'm just sort of trying to give an honest answer and see how it goes, and it seemed to work okay. So there you go. Hope that helps. Keep your questions coming. People have been sending me questions. YouTube, Facebook, email, whatever channel you want to go over to send me a question, that is fine. I've been getting them from everywhere. If you liked this video, if this was somewhat helpful to you, I'm not sure if it was, but if it was, please like the video, please subscribe, share, and hit the bell, and I will see all you guys on the next one. Take care.